All right, I'm back. Day 2, chapter 2 of the 67 Barracuda seat rebuild. Moved outside because we're going to be spraying some super glue, 3M adhesive, and I don't want to do that inside by the cars and in a closed environment. I've got a bunch of material here, just regular cloth. You guys can use whatever you want. I've seen, jean fabric, something from the fabric store. This particular stuff is like an old blanket for shipping, protecting furniture while you're moving it. So it's kind of durable on one side and it's softer on the other, so we can actually build it up, give a little more thickness to some of these areas that are broken down. I've got the foam, we're going to cut that today. And I've got all the hog rings off. These seat covers are ready to just peel off, and we'll get started, see how far we get. The seat back is not as bad as the bottom. It's in a lot better shape, and there's these listing rods in here that we might be able to reuse. We can just cut this fabric because we're going to throw this away. We can grab those and put that in the new cover. The new ones, really good quality stuff, but they don't come with all the listing wires that you need to snap in with the hog rings. So we'll take those. If you need to make any more, coat hangers work really well. Different sizes, obviously the smaller ones bend a little bit easier. And you can use whatever you have on hand for that. But we're going to go ahead and grab these out of here and reuse them if we can. Don't know why we couldn't. Should probably put this blade in a handle before I cut myself. Okay. Hopefully I don't have to deal with as many mosquitoes as we had the other day, but probably be some coming. If they're bent, grab your pliers, straighten them out a little bit. Okay, a couple of those. Those are the two sides, and there's one as well in the front here. They have little rolled over ends, and if those don't fit in the new cover, we could of course just straighten one of them out and bend it when we're done. You don't want them to fall out. You can also take a little piece of fabric, just grab some scrap. You can cut it with the scissors and spray some glue on it, fold it over, and just cap off one of the ends if you're worried about one of those listing rods falling out, especially on the seat back, where gravity is kind of pulling it down. All right, so that's that one. It's getting close. That's the bottom. That's pretty trashed. The rods are falling right out of that one. Okay, these aren't bent over on the ends, so those came out of the bottom. I'll set those over here, and there's one more in the front here. It's actually getting it's had moisture on it, so it's kind of corroded. So I guess that's helping keep it be stuck in there. That fabric's so weak. This one I will probably replace with just a nicer one from one of these coat hangers, but we'll set that aside. Shorter ones in the front, the two longer ones are on the side. All right, so there's that. We might as well get these lower seat supports off. I've been just letting them flop around, but really they're just easy to take off with a nut on the back side. So let's do that. Probably they're a little bit of a pain to get to, but it's worth it to get them off. They need to be cleaned up a little bit, repainted. Okay, there we go. So there's that one. is mix them up as far as which side they go on, so I'm not going to worry about that. I think the seat covers also are kind of universal left to right, depending what car you're working on. I guess verify that before you get too overzealous with your installation. You don't want to wrap a seat and then maybe get into your second seat and find out that while you're working on the driver's seat and the only thing left you have is your passenger seat fabric. So here's the new seats from Legendary, new seat covers I should say. Got a seat back here, and it's got some insert here that can be hog-ring down, but here you see these pieces don't have it. So what we're going to have to do is thread these in and get those to stay in place, probably gluing a little piece of fabric over it. So let's do that right now just to show you how we get started. Don't need to do much fancy here. Just get a little piece of fabric. That one's pre-cut. I'm going to use it for something else. I think this one's just a scrap. So let's just grab that. They say on here to spray both of the substrates you're spraying twice even. Stuff works real good. I've got a mask. I might put that on later when we do a little bit more. So we'll give it a couple good sprays. And we'll go ahead and put this on. Pretty much sticks instantly. Of course, you know, there's some dry time, but for the most part, you can just really keep right on working. So we're just going to cover that up so it doesn't fall out during use. Do another one for the other side. Okay. And obviously wearing gloves. Just glue off of your hands, or your hands will all be stuck together. Alright. Thread that guy in there. A little bit of glue. Okay, so something as simple as that, we'll keep those in. Do the one on the back, or the, I guess it's the top of the seat. Get that guy in there too. Check it for length. Maybe a hair long. Not bad, I guess. These are pretty close to being duplicates. The ones that came out. Really nice quality. Okay, here's what we're going to run into, like I mentioned. So we're going to have to straighten this thing out to get it to fit in there. This distance here is just a little bit too small. Thread that in. I could take just a little bit off of the length of this thing too. Just a hair big. We'll snip that. Thread it in here. Okay. Bring it through and probably wrap it on over. You don't need any sharp edges poking through your nice fabric. This will be down low buried in the seat foam, you know, augering to the seat base. First mosquito. Okay. So that one I don't think is going to go anywhere, especially when it's hog-ringed in. It's not going to move. All right. So that's pretty good to go for the seat back. Of course, we'll have to rebuild the foam, but let's take a look at the lower. The lower seat, this is going to be a good pattern for the size of foam you need. The one here is completely gone. So this is all going to get removed. We'll do that right now. There's really nothing holding it in. I thought I was going to need a razor blade or something to take that apart, but it's literally just falling out. Wow, that's bad. All right, a lot of years, a lot of good memories, maybe. Okay. You know, you could do what you want and try to buy this same type of fabric, this burlap stuff. It depends, you know, if you're doing like a concours restoration or just trying to rebuild the seat. What I'm going to do is, as you see, I got some pre-cut fabric to build things up a little bit. I've got the foam for the middle, obviously. I've got a piece here of just an old mattress cover, so it's got some like rubber side to it. And I'm going to use that under here just to add a little bit more durability so none of these wires and metal cut through the foam. Otherwise, those are just going to slice right through this stuff. So I'm going to cut that down to size. And got a piece here that's just a little bit bigger than what I need. I need to make it too much smaller. Here, the neighbors are shooting. All right, I'll target practice today, I guess. Okay, so we're gonna get this under there. Add another layer of protection to this. Make it more durable. Okay. I'm also going to wrap this foam with cloth and mimic that same piece of fabric that wrapped down and went under the seat. So, all right, like I mentioned, we're going to use this for our pattern, basically, how big the foam's going to be. It's about 14 by 17, okay? So, Sharpie. Go ahead and mark that out. 14. This isn't real precision stuff, so just get it close. Okay, so there's our 14, and then we're going to want to go 17, which is almost the size of this. Okay. Now you can use fancier stuff to do this. You can use a foam saw, but I just use big shears, like carpet shears. So it cuts pretty nicely with that. Try to do your first cut and be done. Coming back and trying to clean it up, pretty much just make a mess of it. So try to just do one cut. That's going to be your best option. You'll see when I like put some corners on it, they're not going to be as clean as the first cut. Okay, so that's going to go in here. There are some rounded corners. So I'm just gonna eyeball that. I don't want to take too much off, but just a little bit like that should be enough. Okay. And it looks like that'll fit nice. So that's gonna go in here. We're gonna wrap that with fabric. I've got a pre-cut piece. It's extra big, but it'll be what we need for this. Okay. And I'm gonna have some extra material. I want it towards the back. So what I'll do here, let me see if I can find like the halfway point. Let's see if this will work. I'm not sure if that's long enough. Well, we can always glue a separate piece on it, but let me try. Let's see if we get lucky here. Yeah. I'm thinking I'll just glue a separate piece on. Alright. So that's plenty there. Let's get this cut down here. Marker. Try not to take too much. Shears are almost too much. Scissor for it. Just some good standard scissors will work probably just as well. Okay. I'm gonna have a little extra fold over and glue on the edges. And a little extra here. And mosquitoes. Alright, get this trimmed down. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Put the scrap aside. Okay. So what we're going to do now is spray some glue, 2 coats, both pieces of the fabric, because we're trying to kind of encapsulate this foam. Again, just make the foam a little bit more durable, giving it that protective layer. Okay. So we'll get it like this so you can see it better. Get it on the foam, that's fine, but basically, maybe I'll tack it up on the foam a little bit here. Okay, just kind of go like this, like that. And then we're going to bring this around like that. Usually let it dry just a second. Go back and hit it, make that second coat. Oh, here come the bugs. Might have to be done. Must be the witching hour. They weren't here before. Seems like the wind died down a little bit too. Maybe that's why. Okay. So as you see, the glue here works pretty well. Okay. Guess I better learn to bring bug spray now. So that's pretty much what I wanted to accomplish there. Just getting an extra layer of material. Over that foam. Make sure it doesn't get all cut up. All right, now what we have to do is get that extra piece of fabric that's going to go back and around here and fasten to that lower seat base. So let's see what I have. I thought I might have one cut. Maybe it was this piece. It's pretty much just some scrap, but I'll go a little bit bigger. You have to go all the way around and be able to fasten it down here. Let's see if that's a decent size. So it's short for what I want to do. Let's just cut a new piece. Well, luckily I have most of these pre-cut, so we don't have to watch me cutting. I'm going to do a little under 14. You won't have to watch cutting all night long here. Okay, so we'll make it a little larger. Another piece. Trying to get something that can reach down here. Okay. Now that one, I don't think it had a listing wire in it, but I think we should put one in it. So let's do that. Let's just use this coat hanger here. Okay, cut off a piece, just like that. This is going to be underneath the seat. It's not going to be at any risk of poking through the seat cover, so it doesn't need to be perfect. So what we're going to do there is we're going to just spray the material. Okay. Couple coats. Stick the wire in there. Fold that sucker over. Just like that. So now we've got a captured wire in the fabric. It's going to get hog ringed in. It should hold nice. Now let's kind of line it up. Make sure this foam is essentially where it needs to be. Come around like this. Remember, you're going to be pulling it kind of snug. Fastening it to these metal springs, it looks like. Okay, so right about there. Shorten it up just a little bit. So we get a little bit of a pull on it. I think that'll work. Okay. Go ahead and spray it again. Look at how far over it's going to fold. Okay, let's make it permanent. Double check it. Back a little bit. Piece of fabric is not perfectly square, so okay. Got a little extra, you can just cut it off. You don't want little bunched up pieces to show through when you're done. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Got a little extra material up here. You can glue it and tuck it in or cut it off. Fabric's more for durability. These are the corners where I wanted a little extra clearance anyway, so I cut the foam. So probably no sense having a bunch of fabric jammed up here. Let's get rid of it. Okay. Here. Okay, so there's our seat base looking pretty good. Okay, that's really going to bring that seat up. Now, what I anticipated here is with this new nice piece of foam and reusing this old foam that's still in pretty good shape, we're going to have to build that up a little bit. So I have some pieces I pre-cut just to kind of speed the process up here. And this front's, you know, it's pretty low. I can see that we're going to have kind of a difference between this foam and this, so I'm going to build it up just using a little bit of cloth. Okay. And another thing I've done before is to help hold this down. What I might want to do here is, you know, this is going to be captured within the seat base, but this piece is not. It could tend to pull forward. So let's make a little piece here of fabric that we could hog ring in with a little short listing wire like that. Okay, so let's do that one. Couple coats, piece of wire, fold it over, just like that. Get some of this junk out of here. And then we're gonna put that in here just so it reaches down to the bottom where the hog rings can reach. Okay. And glue it up. Okay, now we've got a little structure there, a little bit of metal wire, we can hold that thing in place. All right, next step. I've got a little stack here of material that we're gonna kind of build this up a little bit. I've got some for the sides. Those aren't quite as bad. So I've got about 4 layers of material here. We're gonna add to the sides to bring those up a little higher to match the height of this foam. Okay, and this here, let's see what I got. I've got quite a few layers here. So let's just see how it goes. We're just gonna kind of eyeball it and get started. It looks like the very front edge needs a little bit more than the back. So what I'll do is I'm gonna start. These are pretty much the full width, so spray the fabric. Okay, and we're gonna add that right there, like pretty much like that. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more on the front leading edge. So I'm going to a couple pieces here. Just build that up a little bit more. I'll fold this around, and we're just going to kind of go back and forth to build up a few layers here. Okay. All right, stay there, buddy. Okay. pieces here I'll bring in. Again, building up the front edge a little bit. Hopefully this all works out when we get that cover on. Okay. Bring this around. Kind of bias it to the front edge. And then I have one last piece here that I'm gonna fold over it. Okay, pretty much like that. All right, so this one, two lines up there. I'm gonna bring it tight and down here. Okay. All right, well, we're gonna see how it works, but that's my idea of how to build up the front of the seat a little bit so we don't have big steps. Okay. And this here, boy, I'm hesitant to reuse it. I might just glue it up and go over it. I think that's probably the best bet there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna glue that up. And then maybe we'll cover it. Let's see how it looks. Oh, got a hog ring in here still. Get rid of that guy. And a couple of them. There's another one. Okay. So we'll bring this around here. Pull it too much. Okay. You know, if we don't like the looks of it, we can always cut another piece of nice fabric and go over it. Okay, it's looking pretty decent. Okay. We'll do the same thing here on the sides. Probably get this out of the way. All right. So this will be kind of my first layer here. Build the side up a little bit, and we're just going to go back and forth like an accordion. Just like that. And this final piece here, just go like that and trim it a little bit. So there's going to be a seat cover holding this all in place, but we might as well use a little bit of glue to get it pretty much where we want it, so it's not going to scoot around. Okay. That's not terrible. It's pretty much what I want. There's a little bit of extra material over here. Most of that would get pulled in. I think it will, the seat cover. So I'm not going to worry about that. So Matter of fact, I might even add a little bit more right here. There's like a kind of a thin spot. So let's do that. Let's just cut off a small piece here. Eyeball something. Kind of looking for something like that. We're gonna need one on both sides. So let's get started there. And yeah, just kind of, I want to just pack it in here maybe. Fold it over or something. Let's see how this will look. Yeah, I don't like the looks of this. So let's glue this thing up a bit. Get the delivery. Okay. I might even take this material here, kind of pack it in there. It's a little bit too much. Let's see here. Just use a little bit maybe. Set that in.
How you doing, man?
Hey, doing all right. All right, there we go.
Got all type of generations of Corvettes for sure, no doubt, man.
Well, the dog knows the delivery guy's here.
Appreciate you, okay?
See ya. All right, get another little piece here. And we're going to do this other side. Okay, tuck that right in there. Yeah?
Okay, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, now I'll do this other side. Delivery guy's stuck in the driveway. Well, normally I go help him, but we're shooting a YouTube video here, so hey, he's on his own. All right, it's looking pretty good. bad. All right, so let's take the old scissors and trim this a little bit. It's kind of a weird shape, you know, piece. It's wider here, narrow here. That looks pretty good. Okay. So hey, the bottom is pretty much good to go. We could set that aside, knock out this back piece here. I'll show you what I'm thinking. Similar to the other one, I have some pieces that could build up those side bolsters a bit. A couple little pieces I'm thinking about putting on the end caps. And then I've got this piece of foam here that, again, to keep it from getting cut up by the springs, I want to put it in here and try to build up the midsection of the seat back. So here's how we're going to do that. Just like that seat base, we're going to just glue this thing up and trim it off a little bit. Just want it encapsulated. Let's add a little bit of glue just to get it started. Okay, tack this up just like that. Okay, now we'll hit both sides of what's going to wrap around here. So this is going to need to be trimmed a little bit. Nice bugs there. Okay, yeah, let's trim this a little bit. There's too much material here. A little bit extra is not going to matter. I'm just going to stuff it in the springs back there. But we might as well make it look halfway neat. Okay, good. Okay. Wrap this up. Bring that around like that. Perfect. Okay. So this I'm going to put in here. Let's set up just a second. Okay. And just have to try to work it in. This is kind of my biggest opening here. So I guess I'm going to start there. See if I can't just work this in. Okay. There we go. There's no sense taking all the stuff apart, I don't think. Should be able to just kind of pull it through, scooch it into place. Maybe. There it goes. Wow, the bugs are getting unbearable. Literally swarming me. Okay. All right, we got it in. We'll just want to even it out a little bit here. And that's going to just kind of push the back part of the seat out a little bit more. Give this a little bit more support. Okay, now the rest, what we'll do is I'm just going to add here left and rights. So I've got some pieces. Some of this was just scrap that we're going to glue up, and then a couple pieces we might wrap over the top. Okay, just like the base, here we go. some glue here. Now you could of course buy all new foam if you want. Just depends on the type of job you're doing. If you're gonna want to invest that type of money, it's all money. But I'm on a budget, so we're just gonna roll with doing like a real simple. These little scrap pieces are kind of bothering me. At one time I thought that was good use of them, but I think what I'm going to do is just cut a new piece here. Get my marker. Something like that. Better looking. Not sure which way I planned this one. I think this inner portion needs a little bit more, so we're gonna kind of bias it that way. Good. I'm gonna count how many layers I have here so we get them the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 1, 2, 3. I've got enough to do this piece and wrap that other one over. So I'm going to wrap this now or finish with it. I think I'm going to wrap it now. Good Lord. Can eat alive. Okay, it's looking pretty good. And we got this one last piece I can bring into place. And if it wraps up nice, we won't even need those little caps on the end. Let's see how it looks. Get up and around, I guess. And I'm going to cut it off, I think. Okay, good. So, in my opinion, that's going to help the seat cover fit better. Okay, we'll see. Left side. Go here, just like that. Throw out the scraps again. Well, geez, I guess I just don't let anything go to waste.